When my son said this is your last breath, I discovered an incredible life-changing truth. Bill Johnson had always been the backbone of his small Midwest town. As a proud veteran in his mid-40s, he carried the weight of responsibility not just on his shoulders, but deep within his soul. After long hours at the factory welding steel and the hopes of his family into a dream he could never quite reach, he would return home, bone-tired and emotionally spent. The factory lights were dim, but the demands of work never seemed to wane. Bills loomed large, and dreams felt as heavy as the steel he shaped, yet, the true weight upon his heart came from the distance growing between him and his son, Tyler. At 16, Tyler felt the pressure to embody the hard work ethic his father preached. Bill had been instilling this belief for years, that success meant sacrifice that left little room for words of comfort or emotional closeness. As Bill stared into the flickering campfire that evening, it marked the start of a cherished family tradition, their summer camping trip. But hidden beneath the excitement was an uncomfortable tension, a chasm they were both aware of but too uncertain to cross. The sun had set, filling the encroaching twilight with an intimate glow. Joyful sounds rang out as their neighbors gathered, laughter merging with the sizzling of burgers on the grill, a symphony of small-town life. Bill tried to smile, to muster the energy he felt slipping through his fingers like grains of sand. He glanced at Tyler, whose teenage angst seemed palpable, swirling around them like the smoke from the fire. Then it happened. Tyler's voice shattered the night's serenade. "This is your last breath." His words echoed, sharp and raw, cutting through the laughter and warmth. In that moment, silence fell, heavy and suffocating. Bill felt the air grow thick, each breath feeling like a fight. The wind whispered secrets, coaxing long-buried feelings to the surface. Tyler's rage poured out, hardly a scream but rather a deep, wounded plea for understanding. Bill's heart sank. A truth he had buried deep began to rise. Had he really sacrificed his health and happiness for a dream that felt more illusory by the day? The gravity of his choices weighed heavily upon him, and they stared at each other, a painful silence hanging between them like a thread about to snap. It was the first time either of them had dared to voice their frustrations, a turning point where their roles as father and son faded, revealing two men grappling with their shared struggles and unspoken fears. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the fire flickered and crackled, igniting sparks into the night, the realization dawned on Bill. He'd shaped steel all his life, but what had he shaped in his son? Was success measured only in hard work? Could they bridge this divide if only they had the courage to confront it? He caught Tyler's eye, and for the first time, they were connected not through demands or expectations, but through vulnerability. In that moment, the sky above glimmered with possibilities, and among the grunts of friends nearby, a question lingered: would they find a way back to each other? Would love and understanding be enough to heal the wounds of a broken dream? The urgency hung in the air, leaving both father and son grappling with the heart of what it meant to truly connect. Would this be the beginning of reconciliation or merely the start of a larger journey? Bill felt the weight of silence pressing on them like the night air, thick and heavy. The crackling fire continued its dance, illuminating their faces, and Bill realized the dance of their relationship had been more of a waltz in the dark than a celebration of connection. "Tyler," he finally said, voice breaking the tension, "I never meant for you to feel this way." His son's expression softened, confusion mingling with anger. Bill took a breath, grounding himself in this moment. "I thought I was doing what was best for us, for you," he admitted, his heart racing. "But I see now that I didn't show you how to be happy. I was only teaching you how to work hard." Tyler's eyes searched his father's face, processing the admission. They were no longer just father and son caught in expectations. In that fragile moment of honesty, they became two people seeking something deeper. "I just wanted you to understand," Bill continued, "that hard work has its place, but so does feeling. I thought by setting an example, you'd follow me, but I forgot to show you love. His voice caught, but he pushed through. I didn't realize I was pushing you away. For a heartbeat, Tyler looked down, his shoulders drooping slightly. It's just. I don't know how to be like you. That's all I see. You work hard, Dad. And I'm scared that I'll never live up to what you want. A sharp sigh escaped Bill's lips, a mixture of relief and anguish. It doesn't matter what I want, Tyler. What matters is who you are. You don't have to be me. I want you to be you. Tyler squinted at the flames, their reflections flickering in his eyes, revealing emotions that remained unvoiced for too long. But what if I end up failing? What if I don't know what I want? Then we'll figure it out together. Bill reached out, tentatively, trying to bridge the years of silence they'd let separate them. I'm here. I promise I'll listen. I'll always listen now. Tyler took a deep breath, a flicker of hope lighting in his chest. You really mean that? Yes, Bill said, fierce conviction echoing in his tone. No more pretending. No more masks. Just us. They shared a moment of quiet understanding, both recognizing the journey they were about to take together. The night was vast and empty around them, but it didn't feel as lonely anymore. Stars twinkled above, a statement of the countless possibilities that awaited them. As laughter erupted from the neighbors, an unexpected thought struck Bill. He remembered his father's face, the way it had looked, filled with pride but also burdened by weighty expectations. Bill had thought he was breaking a cycle, but in reality, he was just passing it on. He didn't want this for Tyler. Let us make a promise, he said, leaning in, urgency filling his voice. Let us not just survive, let us live. What do you say? Tyler smiled, tentative but warmer than before. Okay, Dad. Let us do that. Together. In that moment, the stillness sang with hope. As the campfire flickered and more sparks released into the inky sky, a question formed in Bill's mind: would they dare to redefine success together? The thought left him breathless, one step closer to rediscovery. Would this journey lead them toward healing, or would old fears chase them into the dark? The night wrapped around them like a thick blanket, the fire crackling softly as Bill and Tyler sat in the warmth of their shared promise. Bill could barely believe the shift that had taken place. The words had flowed, emotions had poured out, and for the first time, it felt like they were both breathing freely. Dad, Tyler said, breaking the comfortable silence that had settled. What do you think it looks like to just live? The question hung in the air between them, weighty and heavy yet somehow filled with promise. Bill considered his answer carefully. Living, it's about being real, feeling things. It's finding joy even in the smallest moments, he said, searching for the right words. It's letting yourself fail and trying again, without fear of judgment. It's laughter, it's love, and sometimes it's just being okay with not knowing everything. Tyler nodded slowly, his brow furrowed, but a spark of understanding danced in his eyes. Like when we played catch in the backyard? Remember how it didn't matter if I dropped the ball? You just laughed and said it was part of the game? Exactly. Bill exclaimed, his heart racing at the thought. It was about enjoying the game, not the score. He leaned closer to the fire, the flames casting flickering shadows across his features. I want us to embrace that feeling, Tyler. It doesn't matter how many times we fall, it's how we get back up that counts. With that, Tyler turned, a flicker of courage surfacing. What if we plan something? Together? His voice was tentative but full of a budding enthusiasm. Something fun, something I like. Bill's heart swelled. I love that idea. What do you want to do? Tyler bit his lip, hesitating before the words tumbled out. I've always wanted to go on a road trip. Just you and me. No plans. Just driving. Seeing where the road takes us. Bill felt a rush of excitement. A road trip? That's perfect. We can stop at all the diners, take random detours, maybe even go hiking. Just think of all the stories we could gather along the way. He laughed, fueled by the energy of their conversation. Yeah. We could even make a playlist, Tyler added, his face brightening. Play all our favorite songs. The thought of an adventure with his son, creating memories that would stick for a lifetime, made Bill's heart soar. But alongside that hope was a sliver of fear creeping back in. Would it be enough? Could they really shift their entire relationship in a matter of days? Listen, Tyler, Bill said, his tone softening. I know things will get tough sometimes. There'll be moments of doubt. But I want you to hold on to this feeling, okay? The promise we made tonight. Will you remind me if I forget? Tyler asked quietly, his vulnerability disarming. Bill nodded, his heart tightening with emotion. Always, son. I'll be here, every step of the way. We're in this together. As the fire flickered, casting warm light into the chilly night, a renewed sense of hope filled the air. They were no longer just father and son, they were partners embarking on a journey of self-discovery. Let us do it then, Tyler said, excitement brimming in his voice. Let us start planning tomorrow. Absolutely. But first, let us just enjoy tonight. Look at those stars. Bill pointed up, the vastness of the universe reminding him of the potential that lay ahead. Tyler tilted his head back, eyes sparkling with wonder. Do you think we'll find answers out there? We might, Bill replied, hopeful. But what's more important is that we're searching together. As the last of the embers glowed softly, Bill couldn't shake the lingering question, did they have the courage to face the unknown together, or would old habits pull them back into the dark? The morning sun broke through the trees, casting dappled shadows across the campsite. Bill awoke to the sound of birds chirping cheerfully, the air crisp and fresh. He stretched and looked over at Tyler, still lost in dreams, a serene smile on his face. It was a moment of pure peace, and for a fleeting second, Bill felt the weight of regret lift just a little. After a quick breakfast of cereal and toast toasted over the fire, they sat side by side, planning their trip. Tyler was bursting with excitement, flipping through a travel guide Bill had stashed away. Each page held the promise of adventure, and every mention of a quirky roadside attraction sent Tyler into fits of giggles. Look at this! Tyler exclaimed, practically bouncing in his seat. A giant rubber duck. We have to see that. Bill chuckled, his heart swelling with joy. All right, a giant rubber duck it is. We should take a picture next to it. What about the world's largest ball of twine? Tyler asked, his eyes wide. Add it to the list. Bill replied, jotted it down with a grin. As they mapped out their route, the laughter and ideas flowed freely. They talked about all the snacks they would bring, the playlists they would curate, and the memories they would make. With every shared dream, Bill felt the gaps between them beginning to close. Yet, beneath the surface of this newfound connection, Bill couldn't shake the anxiety that gnawed at him. What if this was just a fleeting moment? What if they returned to their old ways, the silence and the misunderstandings? Dad, what do you think we'll find on this trip? Tyler mused, breaking Bill from his reverie. I think we'll find parts of ourselves we've been missing, Bill replied carefully. The truth hung there, a heavy realization they both needed to confront. You know, sometimes he hesitated, wanting to be honest yet cautious. Sometimes what we think we want isn't what we need. Tyler looked up at him, a frown creasing his brow. Like what? Bill took a deep breath, the cool air filling his lungs. Like thinking that memories must be perfect to matter. But they don't. It's the messy parts, the struggles, that can make us stronger. We'll learn that life isn't just about destinations, but the journey we take together. Tyler considered this, his gaze locking onto the fireplace. So, if we mess up, it's okay as long as we're together? His voice was tentative but brave. Yes. Exactly that. Bill's heart raced. No matter what happens, we have each other. We'll laugh, we'll fight, we'll face fears. But we'll do it as a team. Promise? Promise, Bill reaffirmed, a weight of sincerity in his voice. With their plan taking shape, they both felt good about the adventure ahead. Yet as the day passed and the hours rolled into one another, that old fear from the night before flickered at the edges of Bill's mind. Would he be able to hold on to this new interaction? Would they both be strong enough to pursue the unknown without falling back into old routines? As they packed up, Tyler suddenly turned, his brow furrowed. "Dad," he said hesitantly, "what do we do if we start feeling like we used to again?" Bill paused, nose crinkled in thought. "Then we talk about it. Just like we did last night. We have to. Promise each other to be honest, no matter what." Tyler nodded, a determined glimmer in his eyes. "I promise." With their bags slung over their shoulders, they walked hand in hand towards the car. The road awaited them, stretching into the horizon, full of possibility and uncertainty. But together, they felt a little lighter, a little braver. Just as they reached the vehicle, Tyler stopped and turned back to the campfire, the embers still glowing. "You think we'll end up finding our answers out there?" Bill smiled, his voice tinged with warmth and hope. "Maybe, son. But sometimes it's the questions that change us the most." As they drove away, the landscape began to shift outside their window. Rolling hills replaced the trees, and Bill stole a glance at Tyler, who was gazing out, lost in thought. But deep inside, something shifted within Bill, a frail thread of resolve tugging at his heart. As the road stretched on, he couldn't help but wonder, would the barriers they faced break them apart again or forge an unbreakable bond? The car hummed steadily down the asphalt ribbon, the rhythm syncing with Bill's heartbeat. Soft music played in the background, a calming presence that worked against the worry swirling in his mind. Tyler was still peering out of the window, his face pressed against the glass, eyes wide with wonder. Bill couldn't help but smile at him. This little moment felt fragile yet vibrant, like a delicate flower blooming against all odds. "Dad?" Tyler's voice pierced through Bill's thoughts, lacing the air with curiosity. "Yeah?" Bill turned to give him his full attention. "Do you think we'll ever go back to how we were before? You know, before the fights and the silence?" Tyler's tone shifted, taking on an earnest weight that made Bill's heart clench. "That's up to us," Bill replied softly. "But I believe we can keep moving forward. We just have to keep talking." There was a pause as Tyler fiddled with the seatbelt. Bill could sense the turmoil ruminating beneath his son's composed facade. He didn't want Tyler to dwell on the dark past, but how could he ensure they never returned to that place? "Guess it's kind of scary, huh?" Tyler finally admitted. "It is," Bill agreed, the weight of truth pressing heavily on his chest. "But fear can be a good thing. It means we care. It reminds us what we stand to lose. Or gain," Tyler added, his voice resolute. "I want us to keep gaining." Bill smiled, a warmth flooding his chest. "Me too, buddy. Me too." With the sun setting, they decided to pull over at a small diner nestled beside an old highway. The sign flickered with neon light, casting a glow on everything nearby. As they stepped inside, the scent of coffee and fresh pie enveloped them, igniting Tyler's appetite. "Look at all those milkshake flavors." Tyler squealed, his eyes darting toward the menu behind the counter. The diner was a throwback to a simpler time. Checkered floors and retro decor dripped with nostalgia, eliciting chuckles from Bill. It wasn't just a stop for food, it was a moment to breathe, a chance to connect. They claimed a booth by the window, sunlight now softening into golden hues. "Okay, Mr. Adventure, what's your top pick?" Bill asked as he watched Tyler flip through the menu with fervor. "I'll get the bubblegum milkshake," Tyler declared with glee, his voice bubbling over. "Bold choice," Bill laughed. "I'll stick to the classic chocolate, and let us share a slice of that cherry pie." After placing their order, Tyler leaned in, eyes twinkling. "Dad, if we're going to start new, can we name our adventures?" "Absolutely. What do you have in mind?" Bill felt that familiar thrill he used to experience when he planned trips overseas. "How about Operation Explore?" Tyler suggested, his excitement spilling over. Operation Explore it is. Bill nodded, grinning. As they waited for their order, the diner buzzed around them. Laughter echoed, conversations intertwined, and Bill felt a surge of hope swelling in his heart. They were sharing this experience, building memories that could replace the broken pieces of the past. In that moment, the question Tyler had asked earlier replayed in Bill's mind. Could they continue moving forward without sliding back? He had to believe they could. The fear of slipping back was real, but with every conversation, every shared laugh, and every step forward, they reinforced the bond that was once frayed. Suddenly, Tyler's expression turned serious. "Dad," he murmured, almost shyly, what if we find out we're not as close as we want to be? Like things feel different?" Bill's heart sank, but he forced a smile. "That's possible, Tyler. But it's also possible for us to keep bridging that gap. Remember, we're a team, right?" "Right," Tyler chirped, determination coloring his voice. Just as their milkshakes arrived, a shadow passed over their booth, and they looked up to see an elderly man smiling at them from the neighboring table. "I couldn't help but overhear," he began, voice gravelly yet warm. "Life has a way of surprising us when we least expect it. Just think, each moment you spend together is a stitch in a wonderful tapestry that holds you two together. Cherish it." Bill exchanged a glance with Tyler, both of them captivated by his words. "Thank you, sir," Bill replied, feeling the weight of his advice sink into his mind. As they sipped their milkshakes, the image of a tapestry unfolded before Bill, rich with colors and memories, some bright, others dark, but all valuable. "Dad," Tyler said after a moment, "do you think we're going to find our way?" The question loomed heavy, and Bill could only nod, as the uncertainty coiled tight like a spring. "Let us keep weaving our story, son." But what would they discover in the threads yet untangled? Would they find freedom or another fear buried within? Bill took a deep breath, feeling the weight of Tyler's question settle like an unseen blanket on the table. The old man's words replayed in his mind, each syllable weaving through the fabric of their conversation. He focused on the boy sitting across from him, his hopeful eyes fixed on his father. "Dad, what do you think?" Tyler asked again, his small brow furrowing in concern. "All I know is it's going to take time," Bill replied, his voice steadying. "But every moment we're together, we're moving forward." Tyler nodded, still processing. He brought his milkshake to his lips, taking a long sip while keeping his gaze on Bill. Suddenly, as if struck by an imaginative bolt of inspiration, Tyler exclaimed, "What if we start our own tradition? Like a thing we do every month or so? It could be anything, hiking, biking, or even cooking. Just the two of us." Bill smiled at the thought, feeling the rush of enthusiasm bubbling up again. "That's a fantastic idea. We can call it Father Sundays. We could explore new places, try different things. It'll be our special time." "Yeah. And I'll pick the first one," Tyler said, bouncing slightly in his seat, excitement lighting up his features again. Just then, a loud crash interrupted their moment. A young couple struggled to lift a tray of dishes that had toppled to the floor. They weren't angry, they were laughing, the sound infectious and bright. Bill and Tyler exchanged knowing looks. Even amidst chaos, joy persisted. "See? That's part of it," Bill said after a moment. "Life isn't always smooth. It can get messy. But the mess can be beautiful." Tyler beamed. "Like cherry pie. Sweet with a bit of tartness." He pointed to their slice as if it was the perfect analogy for life itself. "Exactly." Bill chuckled, grateful for the levity. He cut a piece of pie and offered it to Tyler, who grabbed it eagerly. Their laughter blended into the din of the diner, filling the space where worry had once resided. After some time, and a lot of freshly whipped cream and cherry juice smeared on their lips, Bill felt his phone buzz in his pocket. He pulled it out to see a message from Ellen, his estranged wife. The sight of her name sent a jolt through him. She hadn't reached out in months filled with arguments and the silence that followed. "What is it, Dad?" Tyler asked, noticing his father's sudden stillness. It's just something unexpected, Bill managed, his heart racing. He quickly typed back a response, his fingers flying over the screen. Before his eyes could drift back to Tyler, the old man from earlier gestured at him. "Everything okay there, son?" His gravelly voice had an unhurried quality that made Bill want to take a breath and reflect. I'm not sure if I'm ready yet to try to mend more than my bond with Tyler," he replied honestly. "Remember, young man," the old man said, a knowing glint in his eye, "sometimes facing old fears can lead us to new beginnings." The man's words sparked an ember in Bill's chest. Maybe he didn't have to fear the past, after all, it had taught him valuable lessons. The pieces of his life didn't need to remain in disarray. As they left the diner, Bill could sense the shadows beginning to lift. He wanted to create that tradition with Tyler, a path toward rebuilding their connection, but he also couldn't ignore the hesitant ache for reconciliation with Ellen. He felt more resolute than ever that they could navigate through these tangled threads. "Where to next, Dad?" Tyler asked, his excitement palpable. "What if we go home? There's something I need to do." Bill felt the adrenaline surging through him, shaking off the lingering echoes of doubt. "Home?" Tyler raised an eyebrow. "But we just got started." "I know, bud, but starting doesn't always mean running. Sometimes it means reaching out, taking a deep breath." Bill's voice trailed off, the significance of what was ahead settling in that moment. Tyler's expression shifted from uncertainty to recognition as he grabbed his dad's hand, sealing their pact. They were heading home, toward the threads of life that still needed mending. But as they drove, a new question resurfaced in Bill's mind: was he truly ready to confront the past, or would old wounds hold him back once more? The car hummed softly as they pulled onto their street. Bill could feel his palms sweating on the steering wheel. Every bump in the road felt amplified, every stoplight a tiny eternity. Tyler was chattering away, full of ideas for their first father-son day, but inside, Bill's thoughts spiraled. "Maybe we can make pizza together. Or have a bike race." Tyler's voice cut through Bill's anxiety like the sun breaking through clouds. "Pizza sounds perfect. Just imagine the toppings we could add." Bill replied, forcing a smile even as his heart felt heavy. Tyler's energy was a warm light, a reminder that amidst the uncertainty, joy still lingered at the edges. As they pulled into the driveway, Bill exhaled sharply, bracing himself. "All right, buddy. It's time." "Time for what?" Tyler asked, tilting his head, confusion washing over his face. "I need to take care of something inside," he said, his voice trembling with a mixture of determination and dread. "Is it about Mom?" Tyler's voice dropped slightly, the innocence of their conversation shifting into something deeper. Bill met his son's gaze, seeing the concern etched there. "Yes, it is. I want to try and reach out to her. It's important for both of us." Tyler nodded, a hint of uncertainty playing across his features. "Okay, Dad, I'll be right here if you need me." With a brave smile, Bill stepped out of the car, legs feeling heavier than usual. The door creaked open like an old book, unveiling a chapter of his past he thought he'd closed. Each step toward the house sent a tightness through his chest. Memories flooded back, echoes of laughter, arguments, the warmth of family dinners that had turned cold. As he entered the house, the familiar scent of old wood and faded memories wrapped around him. The living room stood still, untouched remnants of their life as a family. He paused, taking in the sight: photographs on the mantel, mismatched furniture, and the vague hum of a clock ticking away the moments. It all felt surreal. His phone buzzed again in his pocket, pulling his focus. He glanced at the screen, another message from Ellen. "I'm at the park. Can we talk?" The park was their shared place, the backdrop of both their happiest days and hardest conversations. Bill's heart raced. This could be the moment he'd been dodging for too long. He swallowed hard, filling his lungs with courage. "Tyler," he called. "What's up?" His son's voice echoed from outside where he was kicking a soccer ball against the garage door. "Get your shoes on. We're heading to the park, Bill said, forcing the tension from his voice. Now? Can't we wait? I have a great idea for our pizza. Tyler protested, eyes wide and excited. This isn't about pizza. It's about something I need to do and I want you there with me. Bill's chest felt tight, as though he were strapping on a trusty old shield, maybe to ward off ghosts or forge a new path. Okay. Tyler hopped back in, all enthusiasm despite not fully comprehending the purpose. As they drove again, Bill felt a different kind of anticipation swelling in him. Concern mingled with hope, and he couldn't shake the feeling that change was edging closer. Do you think Mom will be okay? Tyler asked quietly. Bill turned momentarily to look at his son. I hope so. It's time to start facing what we've been running from. The park came into view, a familiar oasis awash with the colors of late afternoon. The thought of facing Ellen filled him with both dread and excitement. He parked the car, his heart thumping loudly in the silence. Remember, Bill told Tyler, taking a deep breath, sometimes you have to step back to take a leap forward. Like a frog? Tyler grinned, trying to lighten the mood, but it only made Bill chuckle nervously. As they approached the entrance, the air thick with potential, Bill caught sight of Ellen sitting on a bench, the soft glow from the setting sun illuminating her face. It had been so long. What if she doesn't want to talk? Tyler whispered, squeezing Bill's hand with quiet unease. Bill's heart raced again, but this time with a sense of readiness. Whatever happens, we face it together. As Tyler nodded, Bill felt a wave of resolve wash over him, ready to embrace whatever waiting words might come. But as they stepped forward, Bill couldn't shake the fear that loomed larger than any words left unspoken. Was he prepared for the truth, and what would it say about their future? With each step, the past hovered like a shadow, whispering doubts. He reached for the door of possibility, unsure if it would lead to peace or frustration, hope or heartache. What awaited them was a mystery that could change everything. Bill's breath hitched in his throat as they neared the bench. Ellen looked different, somehow older, but her eyes still held a spark that sent a shiver down his spine. They connected for a brief second, and it felt as if time warped into a slow dance, a pause that teetered on the edge of what could be said. Hey, he finally managed, his voice barely more than a whisper. Hi. Ellen's response was soft, and she looked down at her hands resting on her knees, her fingers fidgeting with a delicate silver bracelet. Tyler, sensing the weight of the moment, stepped a little closer to his dad, looking from one to the other. Bill could feel his son's apprehension, the unspoken question hanging in the air like a thick fog. Why did you want to meet? Ellen asked, finally lifting her gaze, the intensity of her expression both welcoming and daunting. I need to talk about us, Bill replied, unsure of how to express the tangled web of emotions swirling inside him. About everything that has happened. Her brow furrowed slightly, and the air shifted. It's not easy for me, Bill, she admitted, her voice trembling ever so slightly. I didn't think you'd want to talk again. He took a step closer, his heart pounding, fortified by the presence of his son beside him. I have to try. For Tyler's sake and ours. I want us to be in a better place, to co-parent, to be a family even if it looks different now. Ellen nodded slowly, her expression softening with each word. I've felt so lost. So many moments I wished I could have back. Bill's throat tightened. Me too. But what if we can't change the past? What if we can learn to navigate it together for him? Is that what you really want? She asked, a hint of vulnerability creeping into her voice. More than anything. I want Tyler to know his parents care about him. I want him to see us working together, not just living in the echoes of what used to be. Tyler shuffled his feet, looking between his mom and dad. Are we going to be okay? Like, can we all be friends again? His innocent question felt like a fragile glass ornament, bright and shimmering, hanging right between them. Bill's heart swelled, and he knelt down to meet his son's gaze. That's the goal, buddy. We're just taking the first steps right now. He reached out and squeezed Tyler's shoulder, feeling a mix of pride and protection wash over him. Ellen's features softened further, and a tear escaped down her cheek. I want that too, Tyler. I want your happiness above all else. Can we start with pizza? Tyler grinned, breaking the heaviness like a sudden rush of laughter, and just like that, the tension began to dissipate. Bill chuckled, the sound breaking through the uneasy silence. Not a bad idea. We can plan something special. Just us. I'll help. Tyler interjected, his excitement rekindling the small spark of hope rising in the air. But as the mood lightened, Bill caught a flicker of doubt in Ellen's eyes, and his heart sank. Is there something you're not telling me? The question hung, thick with tension, forcing Ellen to glance away as if she was searching for words. The ash-gray clouds above began to bloom with the warm colors of sunset, but the warmth could not dispel the chill of uncertainty that settled around them. What is it? Bill pressed gently, but the moment felt heavy, charged with a revelation just waiting to break through the surface. Ellen inhaled slowly, the world around them fading as she prepared to voice a truth that could change everything. I am just worried you won't like what I have to say. As her words trailed off, Bill felt himself leaning in, even as his heart thundered in his chest. And then she said it. Maybe it's time you knew the real reason for everything. The air shifted again, and Bill realized they were about to open a door he could never close again. What was she going to reveal? Would it bring them closer together or tear them apart further? This wasn't simply a conversation. It was the beginning of a transformation, and as he stood there, Bill felt the weight of it all pressing down on him. Was he ready for the truth? Would it heal the wounds of the past or expose new ones? In that moment, everything felt poised on the brink of change, and he realized that life's most poignant moments often lay hidden behind the simplest words. Ellen took a shaky breath, her eyes flickering with conflict as she fought to articulate whatever truth was haunting her. Bill, the reason we fell apart, it wasn't just about us. There were other things at play. He felt a cold knot of dread form in his stomach. What do you mean? The urgency in his voice surprised him. She rubbed her thumb over the silver bracelet, her gaze still turned to the ground. It was different than you thought. I was scared, Bill. I didn't want to hurt you, but I felt alone. So alone. Tyler shifted again, his youthful face painted with confusion, bouncing from his mom to his dad, measuring the weight of their silence. Bill moved closer to Ellen, hoping to ease the distance looming between them. What happened, Ellen? You don't have to hold back, he urged, his voice steadying despite the rapid thump of his heart. She swallowed hard. Do you remember the night I told you I needed space? I didn't just mean for you. I needed space from everything. She finally looked up and met his eyes, the sincerity there almost unnerving. I thought I was protecting you, protecting Tyler. Protecting us from what? His brow furrowed, confusion clouding his thoughts. She hesitated, biting her lip, as if the words could cut deep. I was dealing with some things I hadn't even acknowledged. I was scared you'd leave. Scared you would stop loving me if I was honest. Bill's mind reeled as he processed her words. Memories flashed by the moments of joy, the laughter, but also the moments of silent desperation, when it felt like they lived on opposite shores, waves crashing in between. What was it, Ellen? He pressed, his throat dry. He needed clarity, he needed to understand the shadows that threatened to cloud their future. What were you scared of? She released a long breath, like air escaping from a deflated balloon. You remember when I got that promotion? I was overwhelmed, Bill. I thought finally, I could balance it all Tyler. But I was drowning. His heart sank, realizing how much pressure she had kept hidden. Why didn't you tell me earlier? I would have. I was ashamed, she interrupted, her voice rising. I thought I could power through. I found comfort in distractions, and then she paused, tears pooling in her eyes, and then I found myself pulling away from you both. The admission hit Bill like a punch to the gut. The realization that her struggle had long predated their separation injected a fresh wave of compassion into him. Ellen, I would have wanted to help you. If you'd just let me in. I know, Bill. but I was terrified. I didn't want to be a burden. I loved you too much to let you see my weakness. Tyler's eyes widened as he listened, the innocence of a child caught at the edge of a complicated adult world. With his small voice, he asked, "Can we fix this?" Bill and Ellen turned to him, and in that moment, something shifted. "Of course, buddy," Bill said gently. "This is about us learning together." But Bill could sense the lingering weight of Ellen's revelation. They were grappling with more than just emotional distance, it felt like they were chipping away at the walls they built around their hearts. As the sun sank lower in the sky, painting everything in golden hues, Ellen's gaze turned distant again, and Bill couldn't ignore the tension. "What else is there, Ellen?" She took a shaky breath, holding his gaze, determination blooming alongside fear. "I didn't just fall apart, Bill. I made choices that changed the course of everything." An uneasy silence wrapped around them. Choices? What did that mean? Would the truth unite them or unravel whatever fragile thread had started to weave back together? Tyler, unaware of the looming storm, reached for his mom's hand. "Are we gonna fix this now? Like pizza and ice cream?" But in the midst of Tyler's sweetness, Bill found himself bracing for what was next. What else lay buried beneath their past? Ellen opened her mouth to respond, but the words hung in the air, heavy with unspoken truths. As they stood there, caught between nostalgia and worry, Bill couldn't shake the feeling, the hardest truths were still waiting to be told. Would he be able to handle whatever came next? Or would it shatter everything he hoped to build for them? Ellen's eyes darted away, revealing a tug-of-war within her. "Tyler," she began slowly, a quiver in her voice. "There's more to our story than just missing each other. It's also about choices I made when I felt weak. I thought I could navigate them alone, that I didn't need anyone, and that led me to places I wish I could undo. I never wanted you to see me like that." Bill felt the room shift. Their relationship had always perched on expectation. "What choices, Ellen?" he asked gently, the air thickening with possibility and dread. Ellen took a breath that felt like it might break her apart. Her voice trembled. "I turned to people who weren't good for me, who made me forget my fears at least for a little while. I thought I could handle it." Bill's heart sank. Anger simmered with hurt betrayed trust. He had been in a fog, only to find she had ventured into a darkness that threatened to swallow them whole. "Why didn't you tell me? I would have fought for you." "I kept pushing you away," she admitted, tears pooling in her eyes. "I thought if I could just keep pretending, maybe I'd find myself again. But I lost you both the love and the family I valued most." The honesty hung heavy in the air, yet within it was the spark of something that could ignite change. "Mom," Tyler chimed softly, his small voice breaking through the heaviness. "You don't have to hide. We want to be there for you." Ellen turned toward her son, taking his hand up in hers, the warmth of his small grip a gentle reminder of the love they all shared. "You're right," she whispered, "and I don't want to hide anymore. I need to be real with you." For a moment, all the noisy distractions of the park faded, creating a cocoon around them, a shelter woven from vulnerability and reconciliation. Bill observed their little family unit, sensing hope water through the cracked soil of their past. "Mom, can we work it out together?" Tyler asked, innocence shining through the questions and fears that had tangled together. Ellen nodded, her eyes glistening with gratitude and love. "Yes. We will. I promise I'll do better." Bill felt a weight lift off his shoulders. "We'll figure it out together, but we need to promise not to let fear isolate us again. No more hiding. Just honesty. It's okay if we stumble, but we get back up together." An understanding passed between them, fragile yet powerful like spun glass. The park felt warmer under the soft glow of the twilight, as if clouds finally parted after a long, stormy night. "A long way to go, huh?" Ellen murmured, her voice steadier now. "Yeah," Tyler replied, "but we've got our father Sundays and pizza plans. And I'll help pick toppings." Laughter bubbled up, cutting through the tension, a spark of joy igniting their hearts. Pizza first, then we start fresh, Bill amended, the smallest grin breaking across his face. We start now. Let us create those memories we lost, as a family. As they stood together, enveloped in the warmth of honesty and shared dreams, Bill realized something profoundly beautiful. They were looking toward the future, carrying the lessons of the past not as burdens, but as the foundation beneath their feet. The sun dipped beneath the trees, a beautiful canvas reflecting the colors of new beginnings. Walking further into the park, they formed a new tapestry, one woven with honest conversations, understanding, and the commitment to face challenges as a unified family. As they gathered around the table in the diner later that night, the laughter filled the space they had forged anew. Bill could see Tyler's joy radiating around them, and for the first time in a long while, hope seeped back into his heart fully. He took a moment, feeling grateful. Every story has its twists, but the beauty lies within the resilience that binds us together. As the chatter surrounded them and they dove into their dishes, he glanced at Ellen, their eyes meeting in an understanding that this was only the beginning. To those reading this story of transformation, remember, now is the time to embrace your own journey. Don't let fear hold you back. Connect with those you love. Subscribe immediately to stay close to the stories that inspire and uplift. Leave a like now to help spread the message of hope and healing. Comment below with your transformations or what you learned from this story. Your voices matter. Share instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You can inspire them too. Don't wait not even one more second. This is the moment to show your support for this channel and become part of our shared journey.